G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have the current latest piece from OLTO-8 and it comes in their current type of cardboard packaging, which I've tested before, and it's probably about a 3.5 out of 5 in terms of the spin rating, even a 4 if I can be bothered turning it much more than that. So it's got a little drawer here. If you were a real customer, you would get your manuals. I just have a token card because I'm not a real customer. Okay, and it comes with a travel case, which in this faux leather is not bad. It's kind of handy if you want to, be able to throw it into your suitcase without worrying too much about what is next to it. These kind of things I find are sort of handy. It comes with a cushion in here, of course. And that's how it looks. All right, just going to pop this out of the case and of course show the watch to you guys in its full details. So guys, this is what they call their Tide X automatic diver. Of course, with that name, you're going to expect it to be a dive style watch, and that's what this is. So to start with, just talking about the Kickstarter, which is going to come out soon, I think they've said that their full price is somewhere around the $3.99 or thereabouts. I'll put the corrections down here, but the early bird, the first tier early bird, only $249, which I think for this watch is stonking value. $249 for a watch like this, I think is kind of unbelievable. I'd like to see it to believe it, and I'll put the links to the Kickstarter as soon as they provide it to me, of course. Right, okay, so as I usually do, as I always tend to do, let's talk about movement. And this is really quite fascinating because they've told me that this is a self-manufactured movement. So implying that it's in-house manufacture, I suspect that there is a base movement to this, but I'm yet to hear back from OLTO-8 about exactly what it is. It doesn't look like the Sega design ones, which I thought initially it might be based off, but it looks different. So very interesting. Let me know if you in fact know what this movement is. So manufacturer SL2204B is what they've told me it is. Specs down the left of screen. High beat, only 36-hour reserve, but as long as you keep it on your wrist, that's not a problem. It's got hacking, it has manual winding, rated accuracy, they claim plus or minus 10, and certainly this is within that range, although a bit slow, which is slightly annoying to me at minus 6 seconds a day in the fortnight that I have had this running. Okay, let's move on to the case now. So in terms of this particular case, it is a 41.7, not very round numbered, but really, as I measured the outer part of the bezel here, which aligns with the case, 41.7 diameter case, millimeters in terms of the units, 13.1 millimeters in the thickness with 22 millimeter lug width, and the lug distance between my thumbs there about 49 millimeters, which is kind of what you expect for this type of construction. Overall weight on the wrist with silicone rubber is 85 grams. Easy to forget, I think, that it's on your wrist, not very heavy at all. Finishing wise, so full sandblasted, they call it 316L steel. I've never seen 316L steel treated like this. I'm not sure what coating they've put on this. Presumably it's a PVD coating of some form, but they haven't specifically stated. But it really is quite attractive. I thought at first titanium, but they've stated 316L steel, not light enough to be titanium, so that's what that is, and that includes the bezel finishing as well. Right, we have that screw down display case back with a screw down sign crown. Okay, the simple OLTO-8 sign there, infinity sign there. This is rated at 200 meters, so full blooded diving capability, including up to scuba diving if you wish. Now, moving on to the dial here, which is another star of the show, really. This is a skeleton dial, right? A three-dimensional skeleton dial. It's got a 128-degree hour track at the top there with a raised number arch, so the hours on a raised arch there. Printed chapter ring in the periphery for the minute hand, which actually rotates, one circle 360 degrees in 1 hour, but the hour hand in 12 hours, it only swings over 120 degrees. So obviously this is a very modified type of triple hour hand, which they've done before. You've seen this from OLTO-8, from other watches, which I have reviewed from them. So the hands are highly engineered copper and aluminum triple hour hand. So each hour as it swings around, you read off that arch there. It's got what they call a ship turning wheel or ship steering wheel inspired minute cog, right? The minute hand has that central bit there, and it's got a simple stick for the seconds, which continues to go around as as you see this watch here. Okay. In terms of lume, blue colored lume, presumably BGW9 lume on all white markings, on all the white markings that you see here. So all the three markings on the hour hand, the minute hand, as well as the hour track and the peripheral chapter ring there. A lume shot right here, of course, for you guys to see how it looks like in the dark. It's got an interesting lume signature, as you would expect from a watch like this. Right, moving on to the top of the movement, what covers it is a simple flat sapphire crystal with some basic anti-reflective coating. Nothing to write home about too much there. In terms of the bezel surrounding that, unidirectional dive style bezel, 120 clicks with an anodized aluminium insert. Nothing too special, had this technology for many decades now. Let's listen to it. 5 clicks. 10 clicks. Okay, so 120 click unidirectional dive style. There is no lume pip on the bezel, unfortunately. That's something they kind of missed out on. They probably can just put a lume pip in the middle of that zero there. I would have thought, not too difficult to pull that off and make it ISO capable diver, right? Okay, that's the entire case description. The strap is again simple, but it works. This is a perforated blue colored silicon rubber, so perforated pattern down here in terms of the slots, and then the normal buckle holes there, and it's got brushed hardware, but I will talk about this a bit later. That does not actually match the case, which is a little bit of a what gives, right? Okay, that's it. That's the entire description of the watch. Let's just slap it on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys now. And there we have it, the OLTO-8 Tide X, and it sits very nicely, I must say. My wrist is not huge. It's 17 centimeters in terms of circumference, and that's how it looks like on that blue. Just remember, it's only 13.1 tall, and the lug to lug is 49, which kind of just fits me. That's kind of the upper range of what is comfortable on my wrist. Okay, so that's the watch, guys. What have I liked about this? What are the pros and cons? Okay, so look, I think this is another cool and brave original design from OLTO-8. As far as I know, it's original. I don't think they've actually copied anything as far as I know, but let me know if you are aware of that. It's got a skeleton dial, that triple hand construction. Now, this isn't a wandering hour hand. It's fairly, much more simple than wandering hour, but there is some engineering that's gone into that. It's got a new movement, dare I say it, manufacture, but I suspect there is going to be some base that this is coming from. It's got an interesting lume signature that is modern and unique overall. This design really quite modern and futuristic looking. It's a good conversation starter. People definitely will stop you and ask about this watch because it just looks so unusual, and I've had that done. And overall, if it sticks to the $250 Kickstarter price, early bird Kickstarter price, that is stonk in value, I have to say. Especially if this movement proves to be highly manufactured, highly modified, that is worth something. You're getting great case finishing with this matte sandblasted type of look. You're getting sapphire, lots of value if it's only $250 on early bird. Are there any weaknesses? Look, I think very little. I would say this is the main one, right? That does not match the case at all, and I think they could have taken that step to match the case, and that would really, remove any kind of weirdness about this being like as if it's from another watch. And overall, OLTO-8, you got to say that they are not practical time-telling pieces. If you need time at a glance, these are not the watches that you buy. These are watches that you buy to look at your wrist and savor the design and thought that have gone into it, right? This is the type of watches. If you need a quick time teller, just buy a simple Seiko or Casio or something like that. But if you want something different and interesting, OLTO-8 certainly is a brand to consider. So lastly, before I finish, let me just unscrew this and just show you guys how the movement goes. So as you see, that's a minute hand going around 360 at a time, and the hour, right, very slow, right, 120 degrees only over 12 hours as opposed to 360 degrees. But that's it. That's the design and the function of this watch. That's how you would tell the time. And for example, that would be roughly 10 past 10 watch o'clock. Okay, it kind of clashes, so probably prefer to take a photo like this. All right, guys, that's it. That's my entire description and thoughts about this watch. Let me know what you think. Look forward to your comments below. As usual, thank you for sticking with me. I'll catch you guys next time.